the media, which once used to be respected as the fourth pillar of democracy, it still is, I hope, but we are also now accused of hashtagging tragedies, of blowing things out of proportion, of taking sides, and so on and so forth. So today we're going to sit down and try to dissect and discuss what we do in the newsroom and what makes news. And with me is a very interesting panel. Rohit Gandhi, Teresa Rahman, Sudhir Chaudhary, and Suhail Seth. News and views, the truth of the newsroom is what we're talking about. What is the truth of the newsroom? Is there one truth?
You know, it's the easiest job in the world, I think. If you want to be honest, you don't really have to mince your words. You really have to go out and report what you see on the ground. You know, just 2 days ago, when we had the RSS session, we heard the RSS session, we tweeted out what was said, we put it out. Within 10 minutes, there were multiple other journalists around the country who were not here physically, started going out and tweeting something else about that same session, entirely opposite of what had been said on the ground. But obviously, in today's day and age, you can't lie, everything's on tape. It was all on video. We put out the video 5 minutes later, and you know, the truth came out. All those others backed down. The channels had established panels in the next 10 minutes based on that tweet, saying that RSS had said that no reservation should be allowed, or there shouldn't be any reservation, but it was the exact opposite of what they had said. So certainly, in today's day and age, it's the easiest but to speak the truth, and it's very easy for you as a journalist to go out and do that, but if you decide to lie, you will be caught, and when you're caught, you're out of the system. But it seems like in India, there is more bandwidth to tolerate the lies that people put out. Because constantly I've seen journalists who've lied over and over again are still out in the media, still working, still reporting.
Can you define it in absolute terms? This is true and this is not? Or everything has a context. We use adjectives to he said versus he complained versus he threatened, and you spin it in a way. So can you say that the viewer is discerning enough to understand that you have put out the whole truth, if there is such a thing?
I think there are always two sides of the same story, and it also depends what you want to hear, what you want to project, what you want to write, and your own mindset. And that's why I'm very happy that we are talking about how newsrooms function across the country. So at times I have seen that, you know, it also depends on the person's own mentality who's reporting from the field. Also, the entire editorial team involved, also the editorial line of that particular channel, and at times you must have seen that, you know, you want to believe something, whether it's true or not. That particular team, that particular channel has a set mentality, and that's why they focus only on one part. What Rohit just mentioned is one of those cases where people actually want to romance with RSS, and they want to believe that RSS must have said this, and it's a big issue. And every time, you must have seen this, just before elections, such stories are done, they are published, printed. लेकिन इसमें ईमानदारी की बहुत ज़रूरत है, और जो सबसे बड़ा इंट्रोस्पेक्शन है हमारे बीच में वो ये है कि न्यूज़ रिपोर्टिंग कितनी ईमानदारी से हो रही है, और लोगों को अब ये देखना पड़ेगा कि कौन सा न्यूज़ चैनल या कौन सा अखबार या कौन सा रिपोर्टर या कौन सा एंकर उनको ईमानदार लगता है। हमने बीच में एक सर्वे किया था, लोगों के बीच में हम गए थे, और जो सबसे बड़ा कंसर्न था लोगों का, रीडर्स का और व्यूअर्स का, वो ये था कि मीडिया की क्रेडिबिलिटी, विश्वसनीयता कम होती जा रही है। जो हम सुनना चाहते हैं मीडिया उससे कुछ अलग बताने की कोशिश कर रहा है। सो आई थिंक देयर इज लॉट ऑफ स्कोप फॉर इंट्रोस्पेक्शन एंड लॉट ऑफ स्कोप फॉर ऑर्बिट शिफ्ट। पीछे 70 साल से जैसी रिपोर्टिंग चल रही है, हो सकता है अब आपको बदलने की ज़रूरत हो।
Suhail Seth, is it going in the right direction? Is the media, and the media is not a monolith, you know, there are layers and layers, and there are different ideologies represented by different media houses. Are they giving out the whole spectrum of opinion, if I may?
I want to start by quoting Khushro Irani, who used to run the Statesman. And he used to say the press in India is as free as it chooses to be. I wrote an essay for the McKinsey book saying from watchdog to lapdog, the transformation of the Indian media. But it's true across the world. The fundamental issue I have is the people who report the news now seek celebrity dump. The editor who was earlier read is now seen. The television anchor, people like Walter Cronkite, these were people of grave eminence but also deep intellect. Today what has happened is intellectualism has gone out of our media by and large. I can't make a sweeping statement. For instance, and I don't get into this RSS, Modi, Sonia, Manmohan, Advani thing because that's happening every day. Let's look at the intellectual depth of our media, for instance. When was the last time you read a well-calibrated, well-reasoned view on the decline of our cultural mooring in this country? We still have magazines like The Atlantic. We still have The New Yorker. We still have The Spectator. Punch is closed down. The intellectual space has vanished, which the media, I believe, was a fierce protector of. When we grew up in Calcutta, we read Desmond Doig. You read The Junior Statesman. And it's not the media's fault. It's also us. We want our television anchors to become, Spider-Man, Batman, on whatever day of the week it is. So you want them to fight, abuse. I mean, for God's sake, television screens are showing fire burning beneath. So if you want to make media into a spectator sport, go right ahead. The most dangerous thing is about the sellout of the media. And I'll tell you why. It's become a high-cost game. Earlier, the media was in trust. Today, the media is in money.
Or maybe we know more today.
I don't know about no. Well, that I can put you, not you, but I can put anyone through a quiz. Let me tell you, you'll be pretty unsettled. I don't think it's about knowing more. What has happened is the cost of running media is very high. It's prohibitive. Carriage fees charged by some of these companies ridiculous. When costs go up, commerce then takes greater precedence. Today, people would much rather spend tons and tons of money in beefing up their channels as they must. So the space for reasoned, calm, calibrated news has gone. And if that happens, what will remain is the noise without the intellect. That's the dangerous thing.
Teresa, you've reported from some challenging parts of the country. You've
Northeast of India.
the Northeast, yes, among other things. And do you believe that the space for that long format, deep reportage is shrinking and it's just high decibel discussions, as Sohail is saying, the intellectual depth is missing now?
Palki, probably I am the black sheep in this panel today because I am from one of the most underreported regions of the country, the Northeast of India. And, I've been struggling to find space for my stories, as a very angry reaction, I decided to create my own space. I refused to beg for space from the so-called national media, and I started my own online magazine, which I call the Thumbprint. And I deliberately called it an international magazine with a Northeastern soul. And you won't believe it, I run the magazine sitting in my living room in a remote town in Assam. And I live 200 kilometers away from the nearest airport, that is Guwahati. So the space is shrinking definitely, but there are other options. I think internet has opened up tremendous possibilities, and we have been able to create space in the cyberspace, which is another space which marginalized groups of journalists in the periphery, so-called periphery of the country. I don't call myself from the periphery, but it's a truth that we are away from the power center. So to make our voices heard, and it's too ambitious to call ourselves a bridge, but at best we call ourselves a scaffold, trying to reach out to the world and trying to make our voices heard. So I think there is a different game playing out there.
There's a journalist and there's an entrepreneur. So she's broken the formula, the cliched formula, and tried to chart her own course, which is commendable. But do you think it's still viable? Do you think it's possible for journalists to still do that? And do journalists who become stars fail to be the real journalists? Do you have to be poor to be truthful?
I want to break this down in a few parts. So Hill raised a very important question. It's very expensive to do news coverage. So a lot of newsrooms around the world have taken the shortcut to reportage. Now, reporting from the ground, I have a crew right now in Tel Aviv and I have a crew in Syria. It's very, very expensive, prohibitive costs. It's easy to run a panel in the evening, call 5 guests, 2 of them could be Pakistani, you're giving them 20,000 rupees each to scream at them, and then you have, for ₹1,00,000, you have a great debate, people will come and watch you, you walk away with 70 crores annually just by running that 1-hour program.
Why don't you pay Indian panelists?
A lot of them get paid. But to actually go on the ground and report a story, one story could cost you as much as 3 or 4 lakhs, and it could only be 5 minutes in the box. So a lot of the news management will say, why are you spending so much money? Ground reportage is expensive, but people have to recognize when they see a story from the ground that this is where the effort has gone. This is news reportage, this is journalism, not when you sit inside studios and call it journalism. I want to break it down to the other part. Being an entrepreneur and then being a journalist still, I think the paradigm has to change. Long term, you will continue seeing people who can't find space in international or national media, and they'll say, no, we need to find space. But again, we have a very north-focused mentality in covering news in India specifically. Only once in a while, like the Jallikattu story right now has taken some importance. Otherwise, we seem to be focused only on the north. We forget many other parts of this country, and I think it's essential that we recognize that they may not be the main markets which actually bring you money, but they're equally a part of India. So spreading the newsrooms around the country and covering for what they are 2 very, very important things.
I would like to add here, when reporting from the ground, when you're talking about reporting from the ground, like I have covered hardcore conflict, I was the principal correspondent of Tehelka in the Northeast. So I've been to militant camps, I've been caught in crossfire, so once I was sitting with a Pakistani journalist, Munize Jahangir. She asked me, do you wear bulletproof jackets when you go reporting? I was taken aback. It never struck any of us, Indian journalists, especially in the periphery, to even think about our own safety, own security. And I still recall the day when I was caught in a crossfire and I was crouching, and that was in some remote corner in Manipur. And I was just trying to think, what if I don't go back today, what if I don't go back alive? I would just be reduced to another statistics. Another journalist died in a conflict zone. So that is something, the support system for journalists reporting from difficult regions, and this support system doesn't, not only physical infrastructure, it's the psychological trauma that we go through, and and reporting conflict can bring surprises in every step. You can end up in a legal soup. So the support, the legal support, the psychological support, these are the things which we are still primitive in such kind of, we have not even thought about it.
Can I add to this safety bit? I was in Afghanistan going towards the front line, and another Canadian journalist came along. He wasn't carrying a bulletproof vest. And he said, can I get a ride with you? And I said, cannot take you on the ride because legally we are bound to have a bulletproof vest. It's mandated by the company I work for that I cannot take you to the front line without that bulletproof vest. We secured a bulletproof vest and we took him along for free because he didn't have the money. He worked for a small newspaper. But I think it's very, very essential to make sure that you work for companies that recognize that. And if you can't recognize, you can't get insurance for the people who go on the front lines. I just sent somebody into Aleppo, Mosul, sorry, and I could not send him without one. I said, you don't have insurance, I'm not going to let you go until you have that insurance. So critical for us to recognize as managers that we create a newsroom where there is value for the people who work for you. Otherwise, don't do the business, get out, do something else.
Right. So Sohail talked about the burning screen, the burning question, and so on and so forth. He said that you put 5 guests or 6 guests on a panel, do a show, it's cheaper. Some say that the media is also a part of society and to that extent a reflection of the society. In a country where Bigg Boss is the best watched show, if they want drama, you give them drama. At the end of the day, you're a business. You have to make money. You have to sell your product. Within the ethical boundaries, it is a product. Where do you draw the line?
Before I come to this point, I would like to, say 2-3 points based on the earlier reactions. अब जैसे मैं कह रहा था, मीडिया में हमारे बहुत सारे ठेकेदार हैं और सबसे बड़ी बात जो हमें समझनी चाहिए वो ये कि अंग्रेज़ों को यहाँ से गए हुए 70 साल हो चुके हैं. वी आर अ फ्री कंट्री नाउ. पीपल आर फ्री. मीडिया इज़ फ्री. You are free to choose any language.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's what I would like to believe. और मैंने बहुत सारे लोगों के अंदर ये देखा है कि अभी भी पुरानी जो चीज़ें चली आ रही थी उनको तोड़ने की ताकत किसी के अंदर नहीं है. जैसे हमारा मीडिया ऑब्सेस्ड है कुछ चीज़ों को लेकर. कश्मीर इज़ वन ऑफ देम. कश्मीर में आज कुछ भी हो जाए, एक आदमी घायल भी हो जाए कश्मीर में, तो वो बड़ी खबर बनेगी. लेकिन नॉर्थ ईस्ट में 10 लोग मर भी जाएं, वो खबर नहीं बनेगी. नोबडी इज इंटरेस्टेड. आपने खुद देखा होगा. एंड दिस एंगर्स मी. सो व्हेन आई डू माय शो, एज फार एज माय चैनल इज कंसर्न्ड, मैंने उसको बराबर करने की कोशिश की है. एक आदमी जो कश्मीर में रहता है और एक आदमी जो असम में या मणिपुर में रहता है, वो बराबर हैं. उनकी जान की कीमत बराबर है. एंड मीडिया हैज़ टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. एंड इवन द रीडर्स एंड व्यूअर्स, दे हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. नॉर्थ ईस्ट से हमें कितने रिएक्शंस आते हैं. लोग लिखते हैं कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट में इतना सब कुछ हो रहा है, आप करते क्यों नहीं. मणिपुर में इतने दिन से हड़ताल चल रही थी, दिखाता क्यों नहीं मीडिया. आपको याद होगा वेस्ट बंगाल में मालदा में दंगे हुए थे, कितने दिन तक मीडिया में वो दंगों के बारे में आया ही नहीं. किसी ने दिखाने की कोशिश नहीं की. उसके बाद वेस्ट बंगाल में धोलागढ़ में राइट्स हुए, अभी शायद 10-15 दिन पहले की बात है, नहीं आया. और जिसने दिखाया, then the government starts taking action against you. एक FIR मेरे अगेंस्ट ही हो गया क्योंकि मैंने दिखाया. सो कहने का मेरा मतलब है कि हम लोग सेट पैटर्न पे चल रहे हैं. हमारी मीडिया को, हमारी प्रेस को क्या डिस्कस करने में रोमांस का मजा आता है. दे लव टू डिस्कस कश्मीर, दे लव टू डिस्कस टेररिज्म, बट दे डू नॉट लव टू डिस्कस ट्रैफिक जैम्स. दे डोंट फाइंड दैट ग्लैमर in pollution, or as I said, in traffic jams, or lesser subjects.
The term is TRP stories.
The TRP stories.
TRP stories. Do you not follow the TRP stories? Are you saying that you base your selection of news on merit?
If you ask me personally, I have stopped following TRPs. I have stopped I don't tell my people in the newsroom to see the TRPs. और उसका एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको देता हूँ. आप सब राखी सावंत को जानते हैं. राखी सावंत इतना न्यूज़ चैनल्स पर क्यों आती हैं? मैं ऐसा नहीं कि आई डिसलाइक हर, बट मैं ये आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ कि वो इतना न्यूज़ चैनल्स पर क्यों आती हैं. एंड हाउ सेल्स टीम्स दे एंटर्ड न्यूज़ रूम्स. आज से 10-15 साल पहले सेल्स टीम्स न्यूज़ रूम में आ गई, और सेल्स और न्यूज़ रूम वो एक साथ मिलकर एक एसोसिएशन में काम करना शुरू कर दिया. सेल्स टीम ने ये देखना शुरू कर दिया कि किस स्लॉट में रेटिंग ज़्यादा आती है और किस स्लॉट में कम आती है. और अगर उस स्लॉट में आपने राखी सावंत को चलाया है, दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू रन दैट इंटरव्यू 100 more times बिकॉज यू वांट टू गेट TRPs. बट ये TRPs का सिस्टम हमने कौन लाया, और आज भी उस TRP के सिस्टम को कौन फॉलो करता है. जो हम बात कर रहे हैं, इट्स अ वेरी एक्सपेंसिव अफेयर. पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? ऑल द एडवर्टाइजर्स दे आस्क यू फॉर द TRP चार्ट. इस हफ्ते की TRP चार्ट लाइए. आपने वो TRP कैसे ली है? Nobody cares. आप स्क्रीन में आग लगा के डिस्कशन कर रहे हो, but people are still watching it. People are still going for those discussions.
So that's what people want, probably.
No.
Maybe not.
The worst argument by any human being belonging to the media is, I'm giving people what they want. That is not your business.
Okay.
Your business is not to dumb down society.
I agree with him.
So it is the most stupid argument that I hear from some sections. Oh, we are only giving them what they want, but people are watching us. I mean, Big Boss, I've never seen the goddamn show, but if it is the most talked about show, it says a lot about the show and us. But that doesn't mean we deprive intelligent people of any television because Big Boss is doing well. I mean, second thing, and there I tend to agree with Sudhir and with the point Rohit made. This utter diatribe about liberal versus non-liberal media. bashing Modi is not liberal or unliberal. It's a silly argument for people to say, this is liberal media, that's non-liberal media. I think there is only one kind of media, the ethical media and the non-ethical media. And the ethical media must mire its reportage in facts, mire it in intellectualism and transparency. Which brings me to my next point. How many people in India have actually been hauled over the coals by some ethics commission? You know what happened 3 years ago in the United Kingdom. The Leveson Commission of Inquiry, which was set up over the phone hacking. Societies must protect fiercely the independence of the media.
Definitely.
And as Ms. Rahman said and Rohit said, it is very important for the media to be like Caesar's wife, way beyond suspicion. It is a very damaging statement on a society when we begin to distrust what we read and what we see. And slowly you're hurtling India in that direction. We cannot be a society where we distrust, doubt, are cynical about everything that's on our television sets and in our newspapers. And finally, TRP, to my mind, exists. It's a reality like commerce, like market factors. But to run an entire business, to then agendaize it, to fashion it, to spin it, only to get more advertising? I mean, for God's sake, where the hell is the conscience? Or is there no conscience left? To then say that it is TRP driven, and here I blame people from my former profession, advertising. It is a collection of the lethargic, cerebrally lethargic, on both sides. The advertiser and some sections of the media. So some section will say, give them what they want. The advertiser says, this is the #1 channel, give it the advertiser. I mean, I genuinely believe, and I will end with this, and I'm not saying this, you know, pehle ye hota tha, aaj nahi. My thing is, we need to revisit our intellectual bandwidth once again.
Absolutely.
We need to, you know, I'm saddened, whether it's Hindi or English or Tamil or whatever it is, even the way we write, the craft has gone. You know, errors are allowed. No one cares. So when you lose the attention to detail in something as critical as opinion forming as the media is, you do a great, great disservice. Having said that, I think Twitter, other social media platforms, and look what Donald Trump said in one of his inaugural balls. He says, I will bypass dishonest media. I mean, he's not the finest example of intelligence. But he said, I'll bypass media, dishonest media, to go to the people via Twitter. A lot of people are using Twitter in order to communicate. They're going through digital platforms because they've lost faith, albeit hopefully partially, in what I would call traditional forms of media.
Right. Ethical versus non-ethical, I wish the equation were as simple as that. There's also the question of vested interests, and there's also the question of your own ideology. How much do you let it affect your judgment as an editor who's picking news stories?
You know, subjectivity will always be part of our existence. You know, you cannot deny it. I'm a social science student, so I understand. It will always dictate what will go on your newspaper, what will go on your television channel. But that said, how ethically you do that reportage on the stories you decide to cover will always rest with you. I think it's a very, very straightforward argument. I can sleep very well when I go to bed because I know when I've taken a story, I've not tried to twist it around to make it look what it wasn't. And you talk about, you know, Walter Cronkite there. The ethicality that is essential out of the media. There is no answerability. Have you ever seen anybody pulled and hauled over for doing something wrong? People continue making mistakes and keep coming back again and again. They've lied, they've cheated really. Sorry. They cheated the system, but they aren't hauled up. I can't see in any other country this would happen again and again. We need to have a commission to be able to deal with this. I don't think we will have a vibrant media anymore unless and until we clamp down on this dishonesty that exists. And so I think it's incumbent on us as media professionals, as leaders, to make sure that we put those systems in place, and that will be required. And I think you as the audience, you as the viewers need to be essentially involved in making sure you don't watch all the crap that's served to you on TV, and you recognize what's the good content out there.
Right. I have a whole lot of other issues that I would like to discuss, but we have about 10 odd minutes, so I'm going to throw this open to the audience and take questions. Yes, I think we'll start with you. Where's the mic? We can start with the gentleman there, behind the camera.
मैम प्लीज़ मेरे को ये कंफ्यूज है कि हमारा मीडिया भी अभी तक कंफ्यूज है, क्योंकि अंग्रेजी नहीं आता है, मेरे को हिंदी आता है तो हिंदी में पूछता हूँ कि सबसे पहले तो हमारे मीडिया को भी नहीं पता है और नेताओं को भी नहीं पता है कि हमारे को जो आज़ादी मिली थी वो गांधी जी के चरखा काटने से मिली थी या भगत सिंह जैसे लोग फांसी के झूले के ऊपर झूले थे तब मिली थी। जिस दिन हमारी मीडिया को ये पता चल जाएगा ना कि गांधी जी के चरखा काटने से मिली थी या भगत सिंह और सुभाष चंद्र बोस के जंगलों में रहने से मिली थी, उस दिन हम आज़ाद होंगे, वरना अभी तक हम गुलाम ही महसूस करते हैं इसे। क्योंकि लास्ट सेंटेंस मैडम, क्योंकि मीडिया वो प्लेटफॉर्म है जिसके ऊपर में स्पीच मतलब दुनिया के अंदर में
सवाल क्या है?
दुनिया बंदूक की नोक से नहीं बदली जा सकती, विचारों से बदली जा सकती है। हमारी मीडिया जिस दिन अपने फ्रीडम विचारों को जनता के सामने रखेगा उस दिन
सर
समाज के अंदर
सवाल पूछिए मेरे भाई, सवाल पूछिए।
Okay,
अब रहने दीजिए, बहुत
it's
हो
okay.
गया।
Yeah. The gentleman near the camera, he's been waiting for a while.
I just wanted to go back to the last thing that Mr. Gandhi said, that there is no accountability. There's an elephant in the room right now. There have been accusations made against the title sponsor of this event of forging videos and, contributing to a climate of, basically aggravating or, constricting the climate of freedom of expression in this country. What form of accountability do you suppose, and Mr. Chowdhury, you can answer this as well, what form of accountability do you suppose that the media should be held to?
I've understood. What he's saying is really what kind of accountability can it be held to? So I'll let Sudhir answer that once I've gone through with this. The idea is anywhere else in the world, how would it have unfolded? There would be a commission which is responsible for any such complaints. First of all, there'd be an internal ombudsman of any organization that would take such complaints, deal with it, and come back to you with an answer. Beyond that, there'd be a commission where you could still go to and hold whoever you have accountable for, that this is what I'm complaining against, I want an answer for that. If it was found out, then that network, newspaper would be penalized, their license would be cancelled, and they would have been told, thank you very much, you're done with your job. So accountability is essential if it doesn't exist in the system, and it needs to be completely unbiased as well. It cannot be then run by biased individuals itself. And I think it's a pretty straightforward thing. As long as the country wants to do it, it can. It's done everywhere else in the world. It's not some new paradigm that you need to set up in any way.
Okay. Do you understand Hindi? Can I answer in Hindi? Okay. इसमें मेरा जवाब ये है, रोहित ने जो कहा दूसरे देशों में ऐसा होता है, बट दूसरे देशों में जो credibility factor है of the institutions, that is much higher than ours. आप अपने देश में मुझे एक इंस्टीट्यूशन, एक कमीशन ऐसा बताइए जिसके बारे में आप ये कह सके कि दे आर अनबायस्ड. कोई भी. मेरा यहां पर सिर्फ इशू ये है कि जब आप मीडिया में रहते हैं और जब आप कुछ ऐसी चीज रिपोर्ट करते हैं जो कि कुछ लोगों को पसंद नहीं आती, और अगर उन लोगों के पास ताकत है, चाहे पैसे की ताकत है या सरकार की ताकत है, तो वो आपके ऊपर हमला करते हैं. जिसके पास सिस्टम है, जिसके पास सरकार है और जिसके पास पैसा है, वो इन तीनों का मिसयूज करता है, जिसमें मीडिया भी शामिल हो जाता है बहुत बार. अब अगर आज आप ऐसा कोई कमीशन बनाते हैं जो कि मीडिया को कंट्रोल करेगा इस देश के अंदर, वो कमीशन कौन बनाएगा? ये सरकार बनाएगी, इस देश के नेता बनाएंगे, इस देश की सरकार ने और इस देश के नेताओं ने आज तक 70 साल में मुझे बताइए ऐसा कौन सा इंस्टीट्यूशन खड़ा किया है या ऐसा कौन सा कमीशन बताया है जो आप कह सकें कि 100% ईमानदार है। जिस कमीशन में जो सरकार या जो पार्टी बनाती है वो उसके बारे में बात करती है। एक कमीशन आज अगर पश्चिम बंगाल में बने, आई वुड बी इन जेल, अगर पश्चिम बंगाल की बात हो। अगर दिल्ली में बने, आई विल गेट पद्मश्री फॉर द सेम स्टोरी। सो इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू इम्प्लीमेंट इन दिस कंट्री। और क्योंकि मुझे यहाँ के सिस्टम पर, और आई एम श्योर यू विल बी ऑन द सेम पेज, यहाँ का सिस्टम और यहाँ की जो सरकार जिस तरीके से चलती है और पूरी जो हमारी व्यवस्था है उस पर मुझे यकीन नहीं है कि अगर आप किसी को भी, नॉट जस्ट मीडिया, किसी को भी आप ट्रायल पे लाओगे, आई डोंट थिंक इट विल बी अ फेयर ट्रायल। तो हमारी सोसाइटी और हमारे सिस्टम को, जब हम यूरोप की बात करते हैं, यूके यूएस की बात करते हैं, पहले आपको उसको वहाँ तक लाना पड़ेगा कि आपकी इतनी हैसियत है कि आप अपने देश में कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशंस, कुछ संस्थाएं ऐसी बना सकते हैं who are you know who will not be biased at all. So the final authority remains with the viewers and the readers. If viewers and readers find me dishonest and they feel that my reporting, this channel's reporting, this newspaper's reporting is biased, we don't like it, they will stop reading me or they'll stop watching me.
Okay. It's okay. Can we, yes, can we have the mic there? Thank you. You can have an interaction later. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. So, my question was basically about how the effect of political parties now employing troll armies. So, like you spoke about, Sohail spoke about people flocking to the digital platforms to bypass the media, but now certain political parties have employed troll armies to browbeat anybody who says anything against them. So I'd just like to know what your opinion is on like the effect this has on media, like, and reporting, that's it.
You know a troll when you read one. You know it's part of a troll army. You won't bother. Simple. You know, let's not now create problems for every solution in this country. To say that, oh, troll armies exist, what would you say? Of course they exist. They exist everywhere. There are people with opinions. They must be allowed. As long as you don't violate any element of the Indian constitution, I think we must accept all forms of opinion. You have the right to block that person or to continue to follow or have him follow you. So, simple.
हेलो, माय नेम इज़ नरेंद्र। मेरा क्वेश्चन पैनल से एंड सुधीर से है कि हमारे देश में बोलते हैं कि लोगों की याददाश्त बहुत कमज़ोर है, बहुत जल्दी भूल जाते हैं, लेकिन मीडिया जो है वो लोकतंत्र का चौथा स्तंभ है, ऐसा बोला जाता है। मीडिया क्यों हर एक न्यूज़ को या किसी भी चीज़ को सिर्फ 3 दिन दिखाता है और उसके बाद दे फॉरगेट फॉर द फॉलो अप? आई एम सेइंग फॉर द लार्जर पार्ट ऑफ द मीडिया, देयर आर पीपल हु who remember and who follow it up, but there is a large section of media who forgets it. Part B, because you gave it a bit with a delay. The part B is, like, I belong to a manufacturing industry. We produce vehicles, we produce tires, a lot of things. Pharmaceuticals, they also produce. Quality is something everybody maintains.
Right.
Do you also have internal quality?
Yes,
and
we do.
do you decide this is to be shown, not to be shown? Because on television, we see a lot of content which is not to be shown in public and which is actually validated or not. So validation of the news is
Okay.
in question.
You have the remote control, so what you don't like, you can always switch.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I completely agree with you. We try to follow what you are saying, but maybe might be some people who are not following it. But then ultimately, as she said, you have the remote control, you have the choice to watch them or not to watch them or to block them.
yeah, let's have a couple more.
But yeah, I do agree with your follow-up point. Yes,
Yeah.
मीडिया का भी उतनी ही कम याददाश्त है जितनी लोगों की है। फॉलोअप स्टोरीज होनी चाहिए और ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए। यू आर राइट। हम पहले एक्सीडेंट का इंतज़ार करते हैं, फिर जब एक्सीडेंट होता है तब उसको रिपोर्ट करते हैं।
I just want to ask that since you are already there, reporting and telling all the whatever the news or whatever your views and all that, so instead of putting it on the viewer that you have to choose what is right or wrong, why don't you advocate the right things. And then you talk about rights all the time. Why don't you talk about duties? Tell us about our duties, make us aware of our duties. Why don't you do that?
Okay, ma'am. Do you watch my channel? Have you ever seen my channel? And do you watch my show, which I do every night
Which
at 9?
one?
I do
No, then you don't
yeah,
watch
then
it. If
you
you're
don't
asking
watch.
which one, then you don't watch
No,
it.
I just heard this.
Yeah.
I've heard you, Sohail, a number of
Agar-
times.
You watch his show and his channel,
Yeah.
and
May
then
I-
you will be a changed
Yeah.
lady.
अगर आप मेरा शो देख रहे होते एंड आई थिंक कोई भी अगर यहाँ बैठा है जो मेरा शो देखता है, एनीवन वॉचेस माय शो?
See how popular he is?
ओके, जो लोग मेरा शो देखते हैं, क्या आप मानते हैं आई एम ट्राइंग टू चेंज एंड आई डू सर्टेन थिंग्स व्हिच ही सेड?
Correct.
You do you support me on that? That gives the answer.
All right.
Can we take one more question?
Yeah, one more, I think. Yeah, the gentleman standing there.
छोटा सवाल.
सर हिंदी में पूछ लूँ मैं या इंग्लिश में, जैसे भी हो. एक सवाल जो मीडिया के संदर्भ में मुझे कहना है कि अभी बड़ा जो टीवी देखता है या जो सोशल मीडिया को फॉलो करता है बड़ा कंफ्यूज हो गया है, बिकॉज फैक्ट कहीं लूज हो गया है. मुझे तो लगता है या तो आप किसी इंटरनेशनल मीडिया के आदमी को बुला के हिंदुस्तान का मीडिया कवर करो तो ठीक है. अभी लगता है ये एक पार्टी का है, ये दूसरा पार्टी का है, तीसरा पार्टी का है. अभी सोशल मीडिया में भी ऐसा हो गया है, चाहे आप महाराणा प्रताप के बारे में बात कर लो, अकबर के बारे में बात कर लो, किसी भी
बस प्रश्न पूछिए
क्वेश्चन
ना.
इज यू डोंट नो व्हाट इज द फैक्ट
What is
अबाउट
the
द
question?
हिस्ट्री.
What is the question?
Question is what about the facts? What is the protection which is given to consumer? These are the facts. So if ABC media is saying
ठीक है, आप समझ गया बॉस. इतना लंबा क्या
Do you want to
आपने?
answer?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree completely. किसी को कुछ नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है.
Rohit.
I think it's answered.
You see, I want to leave on a nice note because India is like the bumblebee. Aerodynamically, the bumblebee is not supposed to fly because of its shape. But you see, the bumblebee doesn't know that, so it flies happily. If we were to go through everything, India would have failed a long time ago. But we are eternally optimistic and good people, which is why we succeed.
And we
Have a
like
splendid
to,
afternoon.
Yeah. We like to keep you on your toes, so we throw all sorts of things at you. You figure out what is your truth, what would you like to believe. And it should be a fun interaction. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Rohit Gandhi, Sudhir Chaudhary, Suhail Seth, Teresa Rahman in conversation with Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Thank you so much for this lovely session. I know everybody is interested.